Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Kenny Brown Cars and Coffee Show. Oh, I said it Kenny's way. It's Cars and Coffee with Kenny Brown. We are live today, simulcasting on the YouTube channel and our Kenny Brown Performance channel. Do you hear that little noise in the background? I wonder what that is. Well, as promised last week, we are going to have a very special guest host today. And we had the man himself scheduled, Santa. And guess what? At last minute, he canceled. Just too busy doing what he does. So today we have a fill-in, and we have Frosty the Snowman. So,
hello, everyone.
we
Frosty
figured we
the
should.
Snow Brad.
So anyway, that's what we have with us today. Again, with our special guest, Frosty the Snow Brad. Today's lineup is Kenny is going to talk about the 5 critical steps in planning your performance car and track car, which is always a good piece of information. We also have a new segment called Brad's Finds. Brad, so you're going to share a little bit about that, or you want to just keep them in suspense?
Yeah, well, I was searching the interwebs earlier this week, trying to come up with some topics for cars and coffee, and I ran across a few finds that I wanted to share with everyone. So we'll do that after the video.
And then we are going to be calling all Kenny Brown coffee taste testers. We are about to launch that, but we're going to ask for a few people to taste the coffee and give us their feedback. So we'll be talking about that a little bit later in the show. And if we have time, we'll be talking about some memorabilia. So it's going to be a really good show today, and we look forward to you sticking with us. Oh, by the way, the weekly giveaway, Brad, you know what that is?
I think I do. Is it going to be our newest special surprise limited edition?
No,
Coffee?
Yeah, coffee. Yeah. So yeah, you get a. You kind of like, okay, what are you going to say? So anyway, yes, we have the coffee sampler pack, and I'm really excited to talk about the coffees. So Brad, let's listen to Kenny, and we'll get that going.
Here's the 5 critical things that we talk about in performance planning. And planning is so important. If you're going to go on a trip, and today, all you got to do is talk to your phone and tell you where you want to go, and poof, all of a sudden, you know, the whole route's planned out through the nav. But let's say pre-nav, if you wanted to go someplace, you have to pull out a map and say, okay, I'm going to go here and figure out the best way to get there. Well, performance planning on a car is absolutely no different. Because the number one thing in performance planning is start with the end in mind. You have to know where you're going to end up, and you work backwards from there. Anytime I build a new car, a new platform, I always envision the entire car first. What's it going to be? And then from there in my mind, I kind of work backwards on the steps we need to do to get to that point. The same thing. I mean, if you're going to do a car, then your performance planning, think of that where you want to be ultimately. And then you break it into steps or years or whatever, but you need to start with where you want to be, because if you don't, you may do something and make an update, and all of a sudden for the next step, well, you got to take that off and put something else on. So if you're planning out, then everything you put on, you don't have to back up and go backwards. The next thing is decide whether you're going to build a street car, a track car, or a race car, because the criteria on components are not completely different, but very different from each of those, because you don't want to put race car stuff on a street car, and you don't want to put street car stuff on a race car. So you have to make your mind up which it's going to be. And a track car is kind of in the middle. And in the track car, even, you have to figure out, is it a little street and a lot of track, or a lot of street and a little track? Because again, then all the components are different. And then you need to start. The next one is, I can't read my writing. Ever since I type so much on the computer, I go to write stuff, I can't even understand my own writing. It's kind of, I think writing before long is going to be a lost art. Expectations and budget. Make sure your budget and expectations are aligned. A lot of times people have these great ideas on what they want to do. They'll call in and get one of my 15 minutes and they'll say they want this, and what's the best way to go about it? And then I say, well, do you have any idea what that's going to cost? And as soon as I start talking about what they just outlined, all of a sudden a lot of people go numb because they really didn't think that far ahead as far as their budget and their expectations. So get your budget and expectations in line. That's another advantage of having one of my 15-minute consults is if you've got a budget and an idea, a plan, or where you want to be, we'll help you work backwards from there. So that you get the best route, the most cost effective, so you don't have to redo things. The next one is stick with a proven philosophy. Like my philosophy is completely different than anybody else in the aftermarket in motorsports or in the Mustang world. Whether you stick with mine or if there's somebody else out there that you like the philosophy, what they do, stick with it. Don't mix and match. The worst calls I get is people call in and the car really doesn't work very well, and they start listing out the parts, and they got this component here, the springs there, shocks there, control arms here. They get everybody's parts on there. As soon as you start putting a whole bunch of parts from a whole bunch of different places, what you're doing is, you might not realize it, but you are on your very own R&D program. And, because you're going to have to find out how all that works together. When people call in, they got all that stuff. I mean, I don't have good answers because I don't know how all that stuff works together because I've never done it. With mine, mine's philosophy is pretty straightforward. The whole suspension system we do now started in 1986, actually 87, with the championship Saline cars, and it's progressed to the point it is, up to actually AGS 4.5 now for the S197s. So, stick with the philosophy, whether it's mine or somebody else's, because if you stick with, if it's like, another company and you like them, you've had a relationship with them before, stick with them. Because if you have a problem, they're going to be able to tell you how to fix it. If you're working with my philosophy, my stuff, if you have a problem, we're going to be able to tell you how to work through it. And then the last is choose your parts carefully. The worst thing you want to do is you don't want the cheapest parts ever, because the cheapest parts are the most expensive. And if you long term, cheap parts are expensive. Choose your parts. Like if you're using my philosophy, try to get everything from this program. If you like somebody else, try to get all your parts from them, and just don't get seduced by all these online sites where you got all these different parts to choose from. Try to stick with somebody that can tell you what to do. So anyway, that's kind of like the 5 critical steps. And I think I mentioned through here, if you really want help, I've got my 15-minute consults, which we do quite a bit of, and they're very, very popular. People are pretty blown away to actually take the time to talk to them and share real information, not something somebody read on the internet or heard. And what we ended up doing is, this is kind of, Cari gave me this is kind of an example we did for Joe Doe. We took the name out to protect the innocent. And also the phone number, but this was like for an 18 GT, and I don't know if you can see this. We just go down, step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and because a lot of people, for budget considerations, can't do it all at once. So I'll come up with a plan and we'll put it in a logical format, so you can actually do step 1, and then when you can afford it, step 2, and just go all the way down. And that way, you don't have to back up and redo. You're using a plan. You're working to a plan, and when you put stuff on, it's going to work with the next stuff you put on and the next stuff you put on. So performance planning is super critical. And like I say, my 15-minute consults, I will do the best I can to get you on the right path.
Okay.
Well, that was good information. And we played that before, but it's so critical. We thought we'd play it again. And the 15-minute consult, we are still doing those. I put a link in the comments if you'd like to join. We do a 15-minute consult. Take into consideration how you're using your car and what you're doing with it and your budget, and we create a build plan for you. So take advantage of that. It's a complimentary call. And we'd love to have you. And the people that are going to be doing the 15-minute calls may be Frosty here, or Rich, or Wes. So we have a number of people that have been Kenny Brown trained that can do the consult, including myself. But I usually let the guys do it. So anyway, if you want to schedule that. And now it is time for Brad.
Well, it's time to mention a few viewers that we have with us today. We have Dylan Calkins, who's from the Dakotas. We have Fred Francher joining us today. We have Joe Johnson, both also are loyal viewers. We have Calvin Goring, who's always a loyal viewer. He says, "Good morning, everyone." Joe Johnson says that I am so cute, lots of laughs. Calvin Goring loves my hat. We have Bill Haney from NOLA, who's with us today. And we have Rory, who's with us from Maple Ridge, British Columbia, Canada. So he's another loyal viewer and multiple time winner of our contest. I think I'm going to have to take this hat off because it's messing up my green screen. Oh, maybe I should just leave it on. My hair is a little messed up. So, okay. Anyway, and then we have Jorge, who's with us today, and we have Greg Drake from the Republic of Texas with us today. So I want to thank those folks for joining us. We have several other people who are viewing who have not chimed in. I want to remind everyone, if you're viewing on Facebook, be sure to give us a heart-shaped wrench or a like, at least share with your friends if you want to. If you are not a member of the Kenny Brown Speed Therapy Society Facebook page, we highly encourage you to join that group. It's a great group of people. We post up a lot of firsts there before we post them on our regular Facebook page, the company page. And if you're viewing on YouTube, I want you to be sure that you like the video. If you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please hit the subscribe button. Once you do, the little bell will appear next to it. Click the bell to get notifications so that every time we go live or we post up a new video, that you do get the notification for that. So, okay, I think I got through all the housekeeping.
And I have one housekeeping as well. So for the weekly giveaway, we are giving away a sampler pack of Kenny Brown's coffee. So if you'd like to win that, put in the comments, Kenny's coffee. Yum. How's that sound? So I didn't see it, Brad. Oh, you just give them a quick look. So anyway, put that in the comments.
That's a sneak peek.
Have the opportunity to win the weekly giveaway. Okay, Brad, take it away. We are doing Brad's internet finds right now.
Yeah, so this is cool. I found some interesting stuff as I was scouring the interweb today, and I'll share the first one here. I've got 4 or 5 things to share, but the first one is really interesting. So let me. Oh, bear with me here 1 second. Okay, here we go. Found it now. So check this out. This is the new 2024 Dark Horse Mustang. And so this was spotted in the wild, is how I'll describe it. But our friend Rob Harrod from Australia, he owns a company called Harrod Motorsports, and he builds specialty Mustangs in Australia. And he is heavily aligned with Dick Johnson Racing. In fact, he's a senior executive for Dick Johnson Racing, and he is also the engine builder of record for all of the Ford-powered V8 supercars. And so he was in Detroit this week, and he was working with one of the engineers on the Mustang program, and he snapped a quick shot of this car that he got to drive. And I'll show you a picture of the engine here. A lot of people have seen the picture of the engine floating around on the Ford website, but this is the real engine in the wild. You notice it has dual throttle bodies, which I thought was pretty cool. Dual throttle bodies is something that's a little difficult to make work on production cars, and that's why you don't see it that often, although several manufacturers have done that. And then here's a picture of the interior of the car. So just like you've seen on
I find that interesting. I look at the floor mat there. Look at
yeah, so this car is
Brad.
this car is a development mule, and so it's got a few thousand miles on it. Hot weather, cold weather, all types of weather. You can see the floor mat is pretty heavily used up. It's got this little cable that's running across the center console. And so interestingly enough, that cable is there for doing some data logging and some other calibration work on the car. But this particular car is the European or Australian spec model of the car. Of course, it's still left-hand drive. They convert these cars to right-hand drive after the fact. So this car was being used for engine and drivetrain, powertrain calibrations. Rob got to drive the car, loves it. This is obviously 500 horsepower car, and so that was pretty cool. It's our first shots from the wild. He posted these up earlier this week when he was in Detroit. And so I also ran across the LA Auto Show is going on, and so I ran across this a couple of photos of the Mustang. And so this is a bright red 2024 convertible Mustang GT that they've got sitting displayed on the podium at the Ford booth in Los Angeles. And then here's another shot of the Dark Horse, which I have on display at the auto show as well. Good front 3/4 shot. And then here's a rear 3/4 shot of the car. Look at that wing. That's just cool. I love it. It's got the dual tip exhaust on each side at the back. You'll notice, if you can see, this has got a big, massive brake caliper on it. So that's a big, what appears to be a 6-piston Brembo caliper. So that's cool because it'll have another spot caliper in the rear for the emergency brake. And then the other car they had on display was this awesome Heritage Edition 2023 GT 500. So the 2023 model is the last opportunity to grab one. It's got carbon fiber wheels. It's got all the cool stuff on it as well. There were a few other cars that I saw that were of interest to me, because car people are car people, and everybody loves all different types of cars. We're passionate about the Mustang, but this is the new Corvette Z06. I'm not a big fan of yellow cars per se, unless they're race cars, because yellow, as Kenny always used to say, yellow was the most menacing color that you could see in your rear view mirror. And a lot of Kenny's race cars were yellow or had a lot of yellow on it, because he claimed that seeing this yellow car in your rear view mirror would drive you crazy. And I think he's 100% correct about that. So here's a rear shot of the car. Check out that wing. That is crazy looking. And then here's the engine that this is the Z06 Corvette. This is the engine in the Z06 Corvette. And so this is the 5.5 liter 4-valve engine that GM produces for that car. This engine makes well over 600 horsepower naturally aspirated, making it the most powerful naturally aspirated engine to ever be put into a domestic production car. And then last but not least, we have the end of the end for the Dodge Charger SRT gasoline powered cars. And so this is the 2023 King Daytona, 11-inch wheels, front and rear, big massive brakes. This car makes 807 horsepower and 707 foot-pounds of torque, and it is a monster. So this is the end of the big V8 powered 4-door sedans. Here's another shot of the rear of the car as well. And so you can see it's got the wide body kit on it, and it's a pretty cool car, to say the least. So those are just some internet finds that I thought were really, really cool. I've got another one here. Let me show you just a second. There's a couple of things. I also have a new product that I ran across as well.
Yeah,
And
this
so,
next one, if I know what Brad's talking about, it's pretty cool. I'm talking and using up space, Brad, while you're finding it.
yeah, that's okay. Right here, I wanted to show you. I know that we have Tim Allen who's viewing, and he just popped up. He says, "Good morning from Point Pleasant Beach, New Jersey." This will be of particular interest to him. Let me find here. So this is something, this was released at the Performance Racing Industry trade show. And Tim, you'll love this. This is the 2022 Ford Bronco performance calibration for the 2.3 liter engine. So this is what a tool they call the ProCal. And the interesting thing about the ProCal is that it allows you to plug into the OBD port, and it allows you to recalibrate the powertrain. They focus primarily on engine performance, but this is a 49 state legal plug and play tuning device that is supported by the factory. So you don't have to worry about voiding your warranty or anything like that when you install this new calibration. And as you can see, it makes quite a lot of additional horsepower, particularly in the mid-range. It obviously makes more power at the top end as well. But if you just look at the mid-range, it goes from roughly about 260 horsepower up to about 310 horsepower. So there's a lot of additional usable horsepower in a really good, happy RPM range. It's kind of pricey at $825. But it's probably well worth the money when you consider that you always have the potential of voiding your warranty when you install aftermarket, non-Ford approved types of tuning items. So I thought this would be of particular interest to Bronco owners. I'm sure it adds a lot of punch to an already great vehicle. Okay, we'll stop sharing that there. And there's more, so just hang tight. One other off the wall thing, occasionally I like to go to bringatrailer.com. If you've never been on there, it's a great place to find race cars and other types of racing items, trailers, transporters, toter homes, things like that. But this one was a shocker. When I found it, give me 1 second here. Okay, here we go. How about this for a turnkey race car? The current bid, you'll notice it's up to $388,000. So this car is listed for sale on Bring a Trailer. It's being sold by Honda. This is chassis number 007. This was a car that was fielded by Wayne Taylor Racing recently, and you can kind of just go to bringatrailer.com. I'm sure it's one of the featured ads. But I thought that this was a pretty cool car for somebody who was looking to get into racing, maybe vintage racing or something like that. Lots of cool things going on here. This car, it's an Areca chassis. I believe that this car has about 11,000 race miles on it. So it's very gently used, as some might say. It's obviously super cool interior. That's a Motec dash mounted into the custom steering wheel itself. You can kind of see it right here. This car is race ready. Ready to go. The engine maintenance for a car like this is every 3,500 miles. You have just the normal basic maintenance, which is replacing all of the internals for the most part. Of course, you'd give it regular oil changes like every time you're on and off the track. 3.5 liter twin turbocharged J35 engine, makes 600 horsepower. It's got an X-Track differential or gearbox in it. So pretty amazing what you can find on Bring a Trailer. So if anybody's interested in this car, be sure you go there. Again, the current bid is $388,000, which I think is probably a bargain for this car. So that's something that's just kind of rare and unusual that you don't see every day. Let's see. A couple of other things. Let's see. Last week we were at the PRI show, and I wanted to share my screen here for those of you who aren't familiar with PRI. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this is the PRI website. PRI stands for Performance Racing Industry, and so it's an industry association. PRI for years was its own standalone trade show and media company, and a couple of years ago they were purchased by SEMA. And in last week's episode, if you were viewing live or if you saw the replay, you saw we had roving reporter Jeff Lucina, who was showing us some of the new stuff live from the show. But you can visit their website at performanceracing.com. And I just wanted to point out that this is a great website to get current information or new information about what's happening in the racing world. So you can see they have a trade show. They do have a magazine. A lot of manufacturers advertise on their site as well. They always have current latest industry news, whether it's new product news or whether it's changes in the industry, new people coming into the industry, people who are being promoted in the industry. You can also become a PRI membership, and so anybody, an enthusiast, a racer, a manufacturer, they can all become members of PRI. And when you join PRI, even as a private individual, you're helping our industry. You're helping political action agendas. There's just a lot of great benefits for those who are industry people or racers. It gives you quick, easy access to sign up and or register to attend the PRI trade show, which is, as most of you could see, was really cool. They've got a magazine. If you, even as an individual member, when you sign up, you will get a digital copy of their monthly publication, which is always cool. It's got new products. It's got new happenings in the industry, tidbits from the trade show. The new product section is well worth it. So this is something that I encourage everybody to visit the website. Membership is extremely cost effective for the year, so I encourage all of you to become members as well. And if you're in the industry, you're probably familiar with their monthly publication, which is packed full of all kinds of really cool stuff. So again, performanceracing.com. I
added the link into the comments as well. And Brad, speaking of comments, before you go to the next one, we have a number of comments that you may want to look at. Let's see, Rory, I think it started with Rory. He's saying the MMR tall deck Coyote Gen X 4,000 horsepower billets short block 5.4 to 6.0, based on something you were saying. Do you have any comments on that?
Yep, that's Modular Mustang Racing. They're a great company. They do all kinds of engine stuff. They have parts for engine. That's where you go to buy the billet oil pump gears for the Coyote motors. I think they were one of the first ones to come out with that product. And so a lot of NMRA racers use their complete engine packages. They've got complete engine packages that anyone can purchase. You can call them. You can have spec engines built. And yeah, so 4,000 horsepower out of their billet short block, I would say is pretty astounding. That's like real street outlaws kind of stuff there.
And then Jeff Jacoby, you can, I'm sorry about that, Jeff, I butchered the last name. I knew this was a car that you were going to pull up. I was shocked about that. And we also have a Facebook user that says, how about that 300 plus mile per hour GT40? Pretty awesome. Have you seen anything on that, Brad?
Yeah, so that's the new GT40. Basically, it's the new Ford GT that you can purchase directly from Multimatic, and so the car was posted up recently on the Ford website, the Ford Performance website. It costs $1.7 million, so not quite as much as an Acura Daytona prototype. But nonetheless, still a cool car, track ready, right out of the box. It's 100% carbon fiber. Everything about that car is super awesome.
And I
So not sure who the Facebook user was, but yeah. So go to Ford Performance.
Ford Giants booth.
That car is slightly different than the car that was in Ford's Line's booth. So the car that was in Ford's Line's booth was the last Ford GT supercar, production car. The Multimatic car is kind of a uber expensive supercar, another supercar step up from the final rendition of the Ford GT.
That's cool. And looks like Bob Jones has a comment too. We were happy when we got nearly 300 rear wheel horsepower out of our 95 5-liter naturally aspirated, of course. They're getting that with less than half of the displacement. And Jeff also mentions those steering wheels are over 35K just for the wheel. That's incredible. Maybe you guys can talk your wives into getting you a last minute Christmas gift. So let's see. We also have Dylan. Did you guys hear about the Cletus McFarland and what's been going on with his racetrack? I guess the city wants to build houses next to his track. Not a good sign. Brad,
yeah. So this is a tragic story. For those of you who've ever been to Bradenton, Florida, and have been to Bradenton Motorsports Park, that's where they traditionally have held the season opener for the NMRA season, the National Mustang Racing Association. And so what's happening is Bradenton Motorsports Park is out in the middle of nowhere. It literally is in farmland, and it's several miles away from civilization. And for some odd reason, a development company has purchased the farmland that is adjacent to Bradenton Motorsports Park, right next to the drag strip, basically, as well as the circle track. Cletus McFarland recently purchased the circle track and has been renovating, and he's done an outstanding job. But so now they want to build 4,700 homes right next to the racetrack, and so it's created quite a stir in the automotive community. Bradenton Motorsports Park, the drag strip has been voted by several media outlets as the #1 drag strip in the United States, and I can testify that it is a great facility. It's not world class, but it's well maintained. They've got a great group of owners there, and it's a shame to see if it goes through and the planning committee decides to change the zoning from agricultural to residential, and they do start building homes. I certainly wouldn't want to own a home next to that racetrack unless I was a hardcore racing fan. They're going to build a 25-foot wall, they claim, to try to help with sound abatement. But I think we all know that a 25-foot wall is not going to be a good sound abatement, and those people who live on that property are going to be able to hear race cars all the time. So it's a tragic thing. This is why we lose racetracks all across the country, is from urban sprawl and overdevelopment. And I encourage everybody to go to Cletus McFarland is on YouTube. go to his YouTube channel. He put up a video yesterday. He gives you all the instructions on where you can go to sign a petition to stop this, as well as how you can attend the meeting if you're in the Tampa area. So Bradenton is just about halfway between Tampa and Sarasota, Florida, for those who aren't familiar with it.
And then if you're
Okay, Cari, so we have some more comments and questions.
Yeah, we do. And just one thing, if you're not familiar with Clint McFarland, he is a huge personality on YouTube, and it's worth watching his videos. They're very entertaining. He's not just Mustang, he does a whole bunch of different vehicles. So Joe Johnson has a question, Brad. Is the dual throttle body in the Dark Horse worth it, since the intake manifold does not have the dual planes to feed each bank in differently? I really want a new Dark Horse.
Yeah, so it is kind of worth it in terms of the technology that they're using and the engine calibration and how air flows. It's not something that's unique. Mercedes has been doing dual throttle body setups on a lot of their high-end cars, particularly their supercharged or turbocharged cars, I guess. And so, as far as is it worth it, I think that's still yet to be determined. It's a great concept. Again, it's been used. We have played around with this on my other side, on the JMS side. We've worked with Magnuson superchargers on a dual throttle body setup for a Mercedes supercharger package in the past. It's not easy to do. The calibration is pretty tricky, but it is cool. It is new for Ford. I guess, yes, at the end of the day, it's going to be worth it. It's going to create some confusion for the cold air kit manufacturers, and it'll certainly create a little bit of confusion for the aftermarket calibration engineers who are going to want to try to make it faster through the OBD port. But I guess we'll have to wait and see, Joe. But I can't wait until you get a new Dark Horse, and if so, I'll have to be sure I plan a trip to Texas so I can put it through the paces for you.
So Joe, does that mean you may get back into track days? Are you like one of these famous professional race car drivers that share their retirement and then a few weeks later you get back into the racing? Just teasing you. Okay, Brad, I think you have something else to show as well, right? I've been waiting for this one.
Okay, yeah. So, well, we have a couple more things. Let's see what's next in line. I'm going to save the best for last.
Okay.
And so this is another cool website that I thought folks would be interested in. So this website is called ePart Trade, EPAR Trade. And so this is another kind of industry association. ePart Trade was founded by 2 or 3 senior executives that were formerly with PRI, or the performance racing industry, Judy Keene being one of them. And so ePart Trade is a great place to go and find out more information about new parts and new things happening in the industry. And so you can go here, you can register to be a member of the site. It's absolutely 100% free. You just go in and you enter in your information. This traditionally was more of an industry-oriented thing, but it's a great source of information for all kinds of new parts. And I can scroll down and you can kind of see they literally have everything from fans to shocks to fuel injectors to induction systems, gearboxes, CNC equipment. Here's another one, My Race Pass, a cloud-based race management system. Just all kinds of really, really cool stuff in here. So this is a great way to keep up with what's new and fresh and new parts that are being released into the industry. And they update this website literally on a daily basis, weekly basis. There's always something new. There's thousands of parts in here. There's hundreds of manufacturers who belong to e-part trade. And they even have, particular items that they spotlight. Schroet has a new FHR that came out. So just a really, really cool website, and I use it all the time. I get their newsletters every day, and I'm always looking to see what's new and what's cool in the industry, whether it's a tool or a part or virtually anything. So I thought that was kind of neat. And that's something that a lot of people don't necessarily know about. So
yeah, and what's Brad sharing with you is PRI, performanceracing.com website, and the ePart Trade are all industry websites, and it is specifically more industry than retail. So that you get a lot of good information from there. Brad, also, is there a certain link for the performance racing newsletter that you were talking about? Somebody's asking about that subscription.
Yeah, so I just posted up a link to the performanceracing.com website.
Okay.
That was Jorge who asked that question. So you can just go to the website, click on the top navigation. There's a easy way to navigate to the membership portal where you can put in all your information. You pay a pretty small fee, I think, all things considered. And also for those who are interested in ePart Trade, I'll go ahead and put in the link to that now as well. And so that should pop up here in just a second. Okay, so those are two great industry websites. Do we have, looks like that was the last question. You want me to go ahead and show I saved it for the end?
Yes, I'm excited about this one.
Okay, yeah, so this is, some of you may know about this, some of you may not. And so this website is called Lap of the World. And if any of you are YouTubers, you probably have seen some of the Lap of the World videos. Lap of the World has a great YouTube channel where you can go and they show video. They have an Acura NSX that's a house car. And so they go to racetracks all around the world, really. And they do in-car video from various different racetracks. And so it's a great, if you're going to a new track that you don't know a lot about, Lap of the World is a great YouTube channel to go to. Search for the track that you're going to, and there's 50% chance or better that they posted a video from that track itself. And you can go to their website, which is lapoftheworld.com. And then you can go to up here where it says watch, and it'll take you straight to their YouTube channel, or it'll take you to the YouTube portal on their website. And they just have hundreds and hundreds of videos from various different racetracks. And they have tech tracks on there, or tech videos on there as well. But what is really cool about this site is they have a racetrack map of the whole entire world. And so I can I'll scroll out a little bit here, but you can see they literally show you the entire world. So racetracks in Australia and the Middle East and Africa, all across Europe. And it's a really cool site. And I like to go here because it kind of reminds me of it continually reminds me of just how many racetracks we have in the United States. And the map that you're looking at here is basically just road courses. So there's some road course, drag strip, dual combined tracks that are listed on here. But this is a great resource to find new tracks that maybe are in your area. They label each one different, and I'll kind of go down here to Florida, which is where I live, for an example. And here in Florida, we race year-round. We'll look at this track here in Valdosta. You can click on any of these icons, but So this is a track that a lot of people don't know about. This is Jennings GP. This is right kind of at the Florida Georgia state line, and currently they only do motorcycle racing here, but they have ran cars on this racetrack, and it is a pretty cool track. They don't do a lot of car stuff because the track is fairly narrow, similar to, say, Barber Motorsports Park, but each icon is different. So you have orange and you have yellow, you have green check marks. I'll click on this red one here. And so this is Gainesville Raceway, and the reason why it's red is because it's not open to the public. But most people don't know at Gainesville Raceway Park, which is where they hold the Gator Nationals each spring, is a drag strip. But a lot of people don't know that they actually have a dedicated road course on that property, and it's a pretty short course. It's only about a mile long. It's kind of like a big autocross track, but they do occasionally have sanctioned events there. You can rent the track really cheap, to be honest with you. They do a lot of government police training there, and so a lot of people don't know there's physically a road course there, and we set a track record there as well. And so here's another track a lot of people don't know about. It's got a green check mark on it. It's called Florida International Rally and Motorsports Park, also known as the Firm. And so this is a racetrack that you can get on just about any time. You can rent the track pretty cheap. It's just over a mile. It's got a couple of different configurations. A lot of open wheel teams actually use this track as a private test facility, particularly in the winter months. The road course is 8 or 10 turns, something like that. They also have a rally school, which is totally awesome. There's Daytona Beach International, obviously, is on here. There's another one down here. This is a new track that's coming to Florida. It's right off Interstate 4. It's called Circuit Florida, and it is basically a country club private type of track. At least in its infancy, they're still building the track. We expect that at some point they may have lapping or track days there. So that's a new one that's coming to Florida. Obviously, we have Sebring. We have Palm Beach International Raceway, which has now been closed down. Unfortunately, again, urban sprawl. It's going to be a Walmart distribution center or something like that. It's a really sad, tragic story. The racetrack formerly known as Moroso is incredibly historic, and it's a shame to see it go. But just down the road in Fort Lauderdale, we have a new track that's coming called the Concourse Club, and that's, again, it's going to be another country club type of track, but the track is going to be massive. It's going to have multiple configurations. We expect that it will be open for lapping days and HPDEs. So it's shaping up to be a first class course. There's been some they've had a few maybe financial woes, but this track is still on course, I think, to actually come to life here pretty soon. And then we have Homestead Miami Speedway. So interesting, but it doesn't matter where you are. Chances are there's a track close to you. Nashville is a perfect example. If you live there, Nashville Motorsports Enclave. This is highlighted in yellow because this is it's coming, or it's new. One of these tracks in Nashville is a dedicated training facility, so you can go there and you can get coaching in their cars, which are open wheel cars, but they do have lapping days, and so you have to whenever you go to lapoftheworld.com, check out some of these sites. They've got links to their websites where you can go and look at their schedules. And so Nashville Motorsports Enclave is one I'd never heard of before. We also have Tennessee Downs, which is a new track that a lot of people are talking about that is coming. I believe this track was the one that was going to be built near the Oak Ridge National Laboratory, but has since moved across to Mountain Ridge and is going to be in another location, and then you have Polecat Driving Academy. This is a dedicated road course, pretty cool. They do driver training there, but they also have lapping days there as well. And so this is a track that, again, I knew nothing about at all.
Brad, how about if we do some more of these in another session, because this is pretty interesting. Maybe we can go state by state, because it's pretty interesting. So people, wasn't that a cool shot? I love that site. It's about time they had something like that. So I'm happy that Brad shared that with us. So if you liked Brad's internet finds, give us some thumbs up or hearts. We want to see those thumbs ups or hearts if you want Brad to do this again. So I want to see those numbers climb so we know if you like it, or else put in the comments that you would like Brad to do some more internet finds. So we would like to hear about that. I think we're going to move into our next segment, which is showing a few more of our merchandise that we have out, and also talking about the pre-coffee. We want some testers out there. So Brad, do you want to? It looks like you're up. Okay, cool. I can see what Brad's doing. He walked away.
Yeah. So I was going to say, why don't you show us some memorabilia so I can take a little quick break.
Okay,
we all know. Come back and we'll talk tumblers and coffee. Okay.
Okay, we will do that, Brad. I'm going to just show a couple things today because we knew Brad's session would last a little bit longer, and I'd like to show you a little bit. I just found this. This is one of Kenny's old driving suits. It's really old SEC Pro Racing. It was from the Escort Endurance Series. Looks like Schroet was one of his sponsors. Ford Motorsport. I think it's Motorsport. Yeah, it's right there. That's when it was called, Ford Motorsport. So it's pretty cool. And if you saw some pictures from before, I was going to try to pull one up, but I couldn't find it, of him sitting on this is the Fox Body era days. I'll try to pull that up for you later, but it's pretty cool. Why would he choose yellow? Well, yellow was a thing back then. It was a hot color, and I helped him choose this, and he went yellow. And it was early in our days, and he went with the color. So I thought that was pretty cool. He really stood out. Again, Kenny really likes putting yellow at the front of his car, because if you see some of his race cars, you'll see some form of yellow on the front, and you'll see a lot of other people that put yellow on the front, because it's very menacing. If they're behind you and coming up on you, you can see them. It's like, you look in your rear view mirror or something, you see yellow. It's like, whoa, watch out. So that was always a good tip that he had. I'm going to show you one more thing here. And this is, can anybody guess where this is from? Kenny's in the background here, but this is a bar at a famous racetrack, and it's not real clear, but maybe you can kind of tell where that's from. So this is the Seepkins Inn at Road America, and it's well known. And if you look in the background, all those little things on the wall are decals or stickers from different race teams, and they're on the ceiling. They're all over. If you make it to Seepkins, we have on about 2 or 3 of our Kenny Brown decals there. There's also a Paul Brown decal on the wall. And we were able to get a Kenny Brown decal right on the bar, right behind the bar. So if you're there, look for it. It's really hard to find decals because there's so many of them, but it's really a cool concept that they do there. So let me show you a couple more things that I have a question for you, and I'd like you to make a comment. And before I show you this, I want to remind you that our weekly giveaway is a sample pack of coffee, and we'll be talking about the coffee momentarily. And so anyway, what you need to do is put in the comments, Kenny Brown Coffee Rocks or Yum or whatever you like. But somebody put Kenny Brown Coffee Rocks, and I thought that was pretty cool. So add that, and you will be entered in the giveaway, the weekly giveaway. So we'll be doing that in just a few minutes. Brad, you are back. I think what we need to do, we're running out of time. I'm going to show some more memorabilia next time. But why don't we go over, talk about the coffee right now?
Okay.
excited about this. I'll tell you a little bit about the coffee and how this came about. Kenny is a huge coffee drinker. He used to drink, I don't know how many pots of coffee, 12 pot, and then he used to make it individually. And he always loved to drink coffee, obviously, at the racetrack. The first coffee he came up with was Oh Dark 30. You want to hold that one up again, Brad? Oh Dark 30, and I'll put Brad's on the main screen here. So, and these are just temporary tags because we're looking for your input on how the coffee tastes. It's showing up. So, Oh Dark 30, and what that refers to is when you're driving a 24-hour race in the middle of the night before dawn, like between 2 and 4 o'clock in the morning, is when you really need a strong stout coffee. And this coffee, Oh Dark 30, is extremely stout. Lots of caffeine in it. He specifically wanted lots of caffeine in it so you're going in the middle of the night for a race or during the day when you're meeting with your boss. So that's Oh Dark 30. And then the next one, why don't we hold up Daytona Dawn? Daytona Dawn is like a breakfast blend, a little heartier than a breakfast blend. And so he wanted to have a coffee that, you know, good morning coffee that has a nice level of caffeine in it, didn't make you too jittery. Brad, you're funny. And so that's kind of Daytona Dawn. And look at those beans. They're just really nice and oily and beautiful and fresh. So that's a Daytona Dawn. And again, these are just our sampler packs. We're coming out with actually Kenny Brown bags, and you'll be seeing those when we do the true launch on this. We just are looking for people to sample these. Why don't you hold up what's the next one that we have? Not the honey brew, the unleaded. Yes. So there's many people that like decaffeinated coffee. So this is Kenny's version of unleaded coffee. He was a huge decaf drinker in his later days. He started out with caffeine and then go to the unleaded. So it's a really good coffee, a little stronger than most decaf coffees. And then this last one is I've kind of had a little bit of input into this coffee. So I said, Kenny, how come you don't have a coffee? All your coffees are really stout. And I said, I'm not a huge coffee drinker, but when I drink coffee, I like a little more mild version. So he named this one Honey Brew after me. So I have great pleasure in introducing this coffee. So if you have a significant other, a wife or girlfriend that would like a lighter coffee, or if you like a lighter coffee, this is the one to have. And there will be descriptions on the packaging once the packaging is completed. So if you're interested in sampling one of these coffees or all 4 of them, go to the website. And Brad, if you could put a link in the website on the comments, that would be great. And you can purchase them there. The sampler pack is $27.95. And if you, we'll send you, after you purchase, we'll send you a link to fill out a kind of like a survey to tell us a little bit about what you thought about it, and also to leave us a little bit of a review so more people know what to think of the coffee. You will get a $10 gift card for participating in that survey. So we're getting lots of little comments over here. We have Alex Moran, decaf? What? Yep. Sorry about that, Alex. We do have decaf. And obviously you must be a little bit younger. The older you get, the more you have to drink decaf. Bob Jones, Daytona Dawn sounds great. Kelvin, Kenny Brown, Coffee Vroom. So yeah, we're really excited about this. So again, you can go order it on the website. It's under merch, MERCH. It's at the very top when you pull down the shop, and you can go on there, and there's 4 of the coffees. Again, it's Oh Dark 30, Daytona Dawn, Unleaded, and then Honey Brew. So you can purchase those separately or purchase the full sampler pack. And there's Oh Dark 30. I love that shot of the track. So anyway, that's our coffees. And to go along with the coffees, Brad, why don't you introduce the tumblers that we have? We're coming up with coffee cups still, but they're not here yet. And we'll show you as soon as we have those available. But Brad, why don't you show the tumblers, and I'm going to put him on full screen here.
Okay, so the first one we have is and I can't remember what they call this. I'll have to go to the website to look. So this is a Kenny Brown brand tumbler. It's got the cool little flip up little, let me get this, hold this correctly. So these are kind of the trendy new thing now. It's got the hoop on it, so you can carry it with your finger, or you can attach it to like a carabiner to your backpack. So this is great for the track. Wow, green screen's not being very friendly to me today, but it's Kenny Brown branded. It's cool for the track. These things are like double, triple insulated. So anything that you put in here, whether it's cold or whether it's hot, is going to stay cold, and it's going to stay hot for hours and hours. We're experimenting with a lot of the triple insulated stuff. It claims that it will stay cold or stay hot up to 24 hours. They're priced very competitively. They look cool. They're very, very high quality. So this is one of them. And then we have our skinny tumbler version of it. And so these are 20-ounce skinny tumblers. These do fit in the cup holders in your cars and in your trucks. It's kind of tall, but it's really cool. We've been using these forever. I love these skinny tumblers. They fit in your hand really, really well. These are perfect for the track. They're stainless steel. But some people don't like the skinny ones, so we actually have what we call the Fat Boy version, and I'll show that to you here. And so this is the Fat Boy version. And so this is a 20-ounce tumbler, but it's quite a bit wider. It's extremely stable. You don't have to worry about knocking this thing over. Great for coffee, great for cool liquids, and so this is, I think, by far my favorite tumbler, but this is so big in diameter that it's not going to fit in the cup holder in your car or truck unless you have, I guess, a really big cup holder and a really big truck. I don't know, but this is cool. Again, they're double insulated. This will keep your fluids hot and cold for hours on end. You could even put your soup in here maybe and have a cool little soup lunch while you're at the racetrack as well. So these are all on the website. We have sold a few of them already. This is our initial offering with the classic Kenny Brown Performance. This is kind of our motorsports logo, I guess, for the lack of a better term. But we're going to come out with these same tumblers in some new limited edition, full wrap, 4-color. We're hoping kind of concepts. So keep an eye out for more variations of those tumblers to come.
Okay, that sounds good. This is your last chance to give us to sign up for the free coffee, you get 4 sampler pack of Kenny Brown coffee, and put in the comments Kenny Brown rocks, or Kenny Brown coffee rocks, or Kenny Brown coffee yum, or whatever you like, and we will be entered into the contest. We have a couple more comments, Brad. We have Tim Allen. I'll definitely buy in on the sampler pack and give some feedback. And he says, wow, a hydro flask. We love those. This is a comment back to when you were at the track, talking about the tracks. The Downs track is more of a Chattanooga track. The track that moved from Oak Ridge is Flat Rock, and we expect to have events that are scheduled to begin in summer of 2023. That's good news. So
yeah, that track should be a really cool track. It's in a great setting. It's kind of in the mountains of Tennessee, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how that comes out. So so the Downs is a little bit closer to Chattanooga. They have done some events there recently, I believe, and I don't know if they were just show and tell types of events. I'm not sure if it's open. If anybody knows, let me know. But Flat Rock is one that I'm really, really looking forward to. So that is going to be a cool track, kind of an Ozark type of theme. The new track in the Ozarks is pretty phenomenal, and I fully expect that Flat Rock is going to be very, very similar to the Ozark track.
Okay, and then we also have a comment that Jorge, he's tracked his Fox in the SN95 at Homestead, and it's awesome. So
okay, yeah, Homestead is a lot of fun. It's a lot like Daytona. It's not super technical. Any tiny little mistake you make at what we call a roval like that is going to set you back for a couple of laps until you kind of get your momentum and your groove back, so to speak. But Homestead, they do a lot of, I guess they have NASA events there. They have SCCA events there. Hooked on Driving does some HPD events at Homestead. And so it's alive and well, and it is a fun track to go to. If you've ever driven at Daytona, Homestead is slightly different, yet still extremely similar.
okay, well, we have our winner. What I chose today, since we didn't have a guest on to choose a number, I chose the 12 Days of Christmas. So I chose number 12, the 12th person to say Kenny Brown Coffee's Yum or Kenny Brown Coffee Rocks. Oh, look at Brad, you have your mug again. Maybe we'll be seeing some more of those. So anyway, the winner is Alex Marin. Alex, you won the sampler pack. So we'll be sending that off to you. I think we have your address here, but if you want to send a note to info@kennybrown.com and say that you won the weekly giveaway of the Kenny Brown Coffee sampler pack, that would be great. We also have one more comment from Roy. We're going to be signing off very shortly. Sounds like it's time for a promotional video with jingle for the Kenny Brown Coffee. We had what are we recording? So we did one for Bun. That's interesting. That'd be really cool. So maybe we can touch base on that. So anyway, this is great. Alex Marin, congratulations. And again, I want to see some thumbs up or comments if you want Brad to do more Brad internet finds. So give us some thumbs up or comment, and then we'll take that as a yes that he should do that again. I think he enjoys that part of it because he likes to kind of research car stuff. So I think he can use it as an excuse, and probably to his wife too. Oh no, honey, I'm doing some work. I can't be interrupted. So is that true, Brad?
Yeah, that's true.
So
no,
anyway,
it's fun, and so we can't do it every week, but we should probably do it once a month. We're going to try to come up with some once a month themes, so we can do Brad's interweb finds once a month. I think we're going to do one time a month. We're going to do some Fox body finds, and we're going to do some SN95 finds. And so we're going to scour the dark side of the interweb, looking for really obscure, funny, or cool, or interesting types of Mustangs from all the different eras. And we've got another special guest who's going to join us to help us with some of those special finds too. So there's more to come on that. We'll let you know.
And if you find some internet finds, why don't you email a link to info@kennybrown.com, and then Brad will look at it and potentially cover your find. So again, info@kennybrown.com.
Tim Allen says Kenny Brown historical items. So I think that everybody really likes the historical items and the so-called museum finds that Cari comes up with. I know I love it. I've seen a lot of this stuff over the years. It brings back a lot of fond memories for me. Every time I see something that Cari digs up from the museum, aka her basement, every time she comes up with something, it always brings back a lot of really cool, really fond memories. The picture that she has up in the background is a fond memory from it was a gift to Kenny from one of his great customers and longtime friend. Tell us a little bit about that picture real quick, Cari.
Yeah, sure. Tim is asking about it. This is Back to the Line, Lamar, 1969. It's the painting is by Nicholas Watts, and it's signed by a couple of people, and I can't figure out who it's signed by, but that's just a really iconic shot. Kenny loved that one, and I just happened to hang it up there. So I did not cover it earlier, Tim, but I think that's a pretty cool shot.
Yeah, those are really rare. Those are really rare pieces of art. Kenny has several rare pieces of art that were given to him as gifts, or as a gift or gifts by customers and friends and people from the industry and from motorsports as well. So we'll have to go back to the tradition of changing the picture every couple of weeks and giving a brief little talk about the picture itself.
Okay. Well, that sounds good. Well, I think we're at the end of our show, and this is our last show for the year, unless Brad and I decide to get ambitious and do the one on, what would it be, New Year's Eve morning, that Saturday. We may do one, but this may be our last show for the year. And we wish you all happy holidays and safe travels if you're traveling. And remember to hug your family and love on them, because you never know what's going to happen. So,
Yep. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, happy whatever you want it to be, happy holidays, a Happy New Year if we do not decide to do a show on, I guess, is that New Year's Eve?
Yes, New Year's Eve morning. Yeah, New Year's Eve morning.
So New Year's Eve morning is kind of boring, I guess. So maybe people would be interested in a live episode of Cars and Coffee. I know Cari is going to be visiting with family over the holidays, and we weren't planning on doing a Cars and Coffee on Christmas morning anyway. But maybe we can come up with something, enough content to fill an hour on New Year's Eve, or come up with a special guest or something like that. So stay tuned to the Kenny Brown Performance Facebook page, the Kenny Brown Speed Therapy Society Facebook group page, and YouTube for scheduling of the next Cars and Coffee Live with Cari and Brad.
So that's good. Take care now. God bless.
Okay. Thank you.